Good morning. Good morning. Great day, great day, great day. It is a wonderful day to be alive, and I thank God for another opportunity to bring to the listening audience and the viewing audience the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, another edition of this powerful, powerful broadcast. Why do I say it's powerful? Simply because we bring to you the truth. We bring you the right stuff. As I always say, we spend most of our lives eating the wrong stuff. We spend most of our lives drinking the wrong stuff, listening to the wrong stuff. That's right. We just plain old do the wrong stuff. And I think it's about time that we begin to do the right stuff. And that's why we bring you the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, because only the right stuff helps. The wrong stuff hinders, it retards our health, our life. Our longevity is cut short. The Bible says, why should a man die before his time? So oftentimes we cut our lives short by doing the wrong stuff. So again, that's why the right stuff. Welcome this morning. We want to talk about something throughout all of last year, it was a beautiful year. First solid year with WMPR. And that's, of course, where we're broadcasting from and on. WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi, all throughout the Delta area. And bottom line, we've tried to bring you things that would help individuals live a higher quality of life. So what are we saying here? We're saying we're going to talk to you today about something that maybe a lot of you have heard of. I'm hoping so, because it's basically, I would call it a Christian effort. Many of you, the first of the year, have done something that's called entered into the Daniel diet. Are you listening to me? The Daniel diet. And there's so many ways of doing this Daniel diet thing. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. I like to say do it the right way. Okay, the only way is really the right way. But you can do what you want to do. But there are some people who some groups will they'll eat up until, say, 6 o'clock p.m. in the evening, and then they'll fast until 10 a.m. the next morning or noon the next day. And they call that the fast. They eat whatever they're going to eat, okay? There are some who will eat vegetables and just eat no bread. Some will eat no sweets. And so they do it different ways, if you hear what I'm saying. But the way, if we could do this, I'm going to just go back into the Bible for just a moment. And it's an amazing thing. There were 40 years ago, I used to wonder, whoa, what are they going to think if I go to the Bible? But I found out that Buddhists, in some cases, have made reference to the Bible, but definitely Muslims, Arabs, Christians, Jews, and what is that thing called? Zoroastrianism. Different denominations have literally used the Bible as a reference book. So that's what I want to do today. And since it's the Daniel fast, we might as well go and see where it started. And I'll do a little paraphrasing, but in the book of Daniel, it says that in the third year of the reign of, this is Daniel, the first chapter, verse 1, in the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God. And it goes on and on and on. But then he says, then the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of the eunuchs, and he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the princes. So what did they do? They captured Israel and they took out the top children, okay? The king's seed, they took out the best of the best, the most learned, the nice, chubby, chunky, strong looking ones. They took them out, the good looking ones, they took them out and they brought them into their kingdom. And he said they wanted children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom. They wanted the best of the best. They wanted the ones that they say here were cunning in knowledge and understanding science, and such as had ability to them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So they wanted the best slaves of all. Another day we'll look at that from another standpoint, but we'll just look at it the way it was today. They took these children, these strong, princely, handsome children. In most cases, they were talking about men, you know that. But they took these young boys and they put them underneath this certain individual. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat. Now, remember, in the Bible, meat means food. God gave man in the beginning the fruit, nuts, grains. And after he finished saying that, he said, and to you it shall be for meat. So man's first meat was fruit, nuts, grains. And then after sin, he added vegetables. So meat in the Bible means food, whether it's animal or whether it's vegetable, it just simply means food. And so it says, the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them for 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. So that was the plan, that all of these captives, these captive children, would eat the king's food, drink the king's wine, and this would be what would make them strong. Why did he think this? Because that's what he ate, and that's what everybody in the kingdom ate and drank, okay? Again, we just talked about what happens when you eat and you drink the wrong stuff. Oh, I don't know if y'all listening to me. So it says, and among these children, in other words, they would look at them for 3 years, eating the king's meat, drinking the king's wine, and then they would look at them to see what they looked like after 3 years. That was their training period. And it says here in verse 6, now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So these 4 boys from the Judah part of what they had taken from Israel were standing before the prince, and unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. He changed Daniel's name into Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah he called him Shadrach, and to Mishael he called him Meshach, and to Azariah he called him Abednego. So that's where we get Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro. No, just to make you smile a little bit. But it was pretty bad when we talk about what they did. Listen to me carefully. It says that Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which the king drank. Therefore, he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself, because he knew that that was the food, that was the drink that would destroy the health in his body. Are you listening to me? And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat, your food, and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall you make me in danger of my head to the king. In other words, if I let you eat the way you want to eat and drink, and you don't look as good as all the rest of the children that came from your kingdom, I might lose my head. Why should I do this? Then Daniel said to Melzar, whom was the prince of the eunuchs, and who had been set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, he said, prove thy servants. In other words, give us a trial period. He said, let we seek you to do this. Give us 10 days, we beseech you, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Now, what is pulse? Pulse, when you look it up, Hebrew, you find out that we're talking about vegetables. How were they eaten? Basically raw, okay, live. But even if they were cooked, they were still vegetables and water. So all they ate was vegetables and water, and they wanted to do that for 10 days. And this is what came from it. Again, I'm reading it from the Bible. It says, then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he said, let us eat vegetables and water. Let them eat y'all stuff. And then at the end of 10 days, look at us, and then you decide what's going on with this deal. What's the best? Okay, we're talking about the right stuff. Which one is the right stuff? And at the end of the 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them vegetables. So we're talking about God created man with teeth that would not tear flesh. So God didn't create man eating animal products. Okay. In the beginning, he created him in the garden, and all of his food came from the tree and from the vine. He ate fruit, nuts, grains, and later vegetables. Great diet that would have least kept him alive for thousands of years, for 1,000 years. Noah lived to be 940. Methuselah was 969. Adam was 930. Almost 1,000 years eating fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. So what are we seeing here? God gave man that diet in the beginning. He created him and made him a vegan, okay, a strict vegan, or I'll say a strict vegetarian. We'll leave the vegan off because vegan has basically become a form of religion. You can't wear leather clothes and leather and so forth. You can't eat honey because the bee helped to put it together. So I'm not knocking, I'm simply saying truth. Right stuff is important to understand. I am not a vegan. You can call me that, but I am basically a strict vegetarian. What do I mean by strict? That means that everything I eat comes from the tree. It comes from the ground. It's a plant. I have a plant-based diet. Strict. No eggs, milk, dairy, cheese, nothing from the animal. Okay? Nothing from the animal. So again, you want to throw honey in there, you can, but the Bible says that a little honey is good for your stomach's sake. So I stay with that reference book. So what am I saying here? That diet, called the Daniel diet, they've called it that. And if you're going to call it that, then let's look at it as it was. It was basically vegetables and the things that came from the ground, in other words, everything that came from the ground. So what about bread? Well, you have to decide what you want to do with that. But bread came from the ground. It was a grain. It was wheat. It was oats. It was barley. It was spelt. It was rye. These were different seeds, okay, that when grounded became flour, and then they were made, shaped, baked, and became bread. So whether you're not or whether you do is on you. But the bottom line is whatever you're eating during the Daniel fast should come from the plant kingdom. It should be plant-based food, plant-based fare. So again, after dealing with this type of dietary for 42 years, how many did I say? 42 years. We understand. We've helped many thousands of people adopt a strict vegetarian diet. Some strayed from them, some didn't. I have children that were strict vegetarians. I have children that didn't get shots and they didn't get mumps and measles and chicken pox and not pops, but pox. Okay. They didn't get all these childhood diseases because they were just like the children of Israel. They didn't partake of the king's meat and drink and shots and so forth. They didn't do that. And again, not knocking, just tell you what I did, what I believed in, and what I got a chance to see from this. So I saw children that just didn't get sick because of their diet. As they got older and went out, then things began to change. But the key is it was based on a biblical understanding. The Daniel fast, as you would call it, is really a lifestyle. Because what happens is many people, many denominations, churches of all types, literally go on the Daniel fast first thing in the year, every single year. And after a month or so, they go back to eating the same way. And by the end of the year, they're sick again. And so then they go back on the diet again, the Daniel fast again. And they do it year after year after year. Well, if you're going to do the Daniel fast, if it starts working for you, you lose the weight, your sinuses dry up, okay, your blood pressure goes down, your A1C goes down, your waistline goes in, your energy level goes up. So why in the world would you stop doing that after a month or two and go back to eating the way you were and the way you did before? Well, I don't know. It's the scriptures say that it's sort of like a dog returning to his vomit. He throws it up, starts feeling better, then goes back and laps it back up again. That sounds kind of crazy, but it's true. It's a truism. People talk about them. They say like a dog returning to his vomit. Why would you go back to something that's killing you? Huh? Why would you do that? Well, it's hard, folks. I understand. It's very difficult to go on a diet like this without some help. That's why we wrote our book called The Bible Way to Health, Bibleway. The Y at the very end, the last prescription from God. The B was best food and combination. The I is intake, plenty of water. We got being temperate, getting exercise, rest, water, all that's in there. But the last one is a Y that simply says yield to God's will always. In other words, you need help from God. I mean, you need some show enough supernatural help in order to change your diet, to drink more water, to go do your exercise, to go to bed on time, drinking more water, getting more fresh air. You need help in order to do this. Some of you can, very few. 1 out of 10, 2 out of 100 might be able to literally just make that change and stay there, but very few can. It's hard. We become addicted to this lifestyle that numbs us. It dulls our senses. It deadens our abilities to feel and to think. And we love it. It's like coffee, sugar, meat, animal products, cheese, dairy, eggs. All of this stuff literally benumbs and beclouds our sensibilities. We can't feel, we can't think like we should, because all of those foods basically, except for the sugar, are loaded with what? Cholesterol, butter fat, cheese fat. You've got fat, and this cholesterol clogs up the arteries, the veins, and we get sick. So what you can do, though, in order to get the right stuff, you want the Daniel fast that we've taught people how to go on for the last 42 years, literally thousands of people, thousands upon thousands. And we watched hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds get better, do better, and watch their diseases begin to melt away. Because God said in Exodus 15:26, if you'll diligently hearken unto my word, keep all of my statutes, all of my judgments, and all of my commandments, that's what the word says, I will put none of these diseases upon you that I placed upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. So God is telling us that he does the healing. And maybe I'm just talking to Christians today. I don't know. But Christians, based on the actual statistics, make up the majority of the religious sections on this planet. So maybe I'm talking to the majority of the people, those of you who say that you're Bible believing Christians. Well, the Bible said in the beginning, God gave man fruit, nuts, and grains, and then vegetables to eat. And then we get a little further along, and Daniel and the Hebrew boys literally decided that they weren't going to eat the king's meat, which would have been rabbits and squirrels and kangaroos and monkeys and whatever else was living. Okay. They decided they were going to eat the same diet that God gave in the beginning, vegetables, and they were going to drink water. That's powerful stuff. And to go further, just to back up the Daniel diet, Ezekiel, the prophet, was given a vision of the earth made new, and he saw the river of life and the tree of life, which represented God. Okay. But in the midst of the garden was this tree that yielded its fruits all 12 months of the year. And the scriptures say in Ezekiel, Ezekiel 11:4 simply says this. I'm sorry, Ezekiel 4:11. Ezekiel 4:11. I'm going to get it right here in a minute. Ezekiel 47:12. Ezekiel 47:12 simply says this, that in the midst of the garden again was this tree that yielded its fruits all 12 seasons of the year. And he said that the fruit of the tree shall be your meat. And we've learned that meat means food, and the leaves thereof your medicine. So here we go. On the tree was man's food or meat and man's medicine. So when he ate the fruits, the nuts, the grains, and the vegetables, he was actually eating his medicine. He was eating the fiber that would make his bowels move. He was eating the antioxidants, the polyphenols. Oh, y'all aren't listening to me. In other words, God had it planned out since the beginning that if you ate the way he told you to eat, the way he designed for you to eat, you wouldn't get sick. Why? Because you had all the vitamin C that you needed, the vitamin D, the vitamin E. Oh my goodness. And y'all listen to what I'm saying. You need calcium. Calcium comes from what? The green cruciferous vegetables. Go Google it, folks. Check me out. Make sure that I'm telling you the truth. You'll find that there's more vitamin D and more calcium in soybeans and cabbage and kale and turnip greens and collard greens and green peas than there is in a whole quart of milk. Oh, wow. But I thought milk had calcium. Yes, calcium enriched. Oh, come on, folks, listen to me. Vitamin D enriched. That means that they put most of it in there. It's synthetic. You want the real deal. You want the right stuff. You go back to the Daniel fast. Go back to God's original diet: fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. And in what stead would you have them? Most of them should be live. The largest amount of food that you eat should be live. What do I mean by live? I mean that it shouldn't be cooked. Why? Because once you cook it, you got to listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Once you cook food, it is dead. Are you listening to me? Oh, well, I just steam it for a few minutes. Okay, steam is hotter than boiling water. Steam is what boiling water becomes after it reaches the boil. So it's even hotter than the boiling water. Yeah, you can get away with 2 or 3 minutes if you can eat it that crunchy, and it can still have some life in it, but you still killed it by putting heat to it. You got to think about, what if I steamed you in a big pot for 3 minutes? That's not long. You think you'd still be alive? You might be, but you'd be scalded. All your skin would be gone. I mean, you would have steamed on out of here, but you'd be in trouble. Your skin would have melted off of you. You listen to what I'm saying? It's the same with the food. I know I'm talking a little out there, but I want you to think. You gotta think. You gotta think on in terms of the right stuff and not the wrong stuff. You can't, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And we've been duped. We've been miseducated. There's a book by Carter G. Woodson called The Miseducation of the Negro. African Americans, you've been miseducated. Caucasian Americans, you've been miseducated. Mexican Americans, it doesn't matter where you come from on this planet, we've been miseducated by the system as to what true health is. But the Bible stands strong. It stands strong on eating fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables, even at the time of the Daniel fast. So, my name is Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. And today we're just touching base a little bit on the Daniel diet. You can give us a call at 901 425 2273. That's 901 425 2273. And let us put you on a Daniel fast. Let us show you how to let that to be the beginning of the changing of your life. On the second half of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about a company with formulas that are designed for longevity, the ones that God blessed me to design for our company, my family company, which is the Right Stuff Health and Wellness Center here in Memphis, Tennessee. But the formulas and things that we put together were all plant-based. They were all designed to help your body to heal itself. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But right now, we want you to understand that you can call us 901 425 2273. Or if a lot of you like to text, if you want to text us, you can text us at this number, 913 363 food, FOOD, 913 363 food, or 363 3663. Okay, that's a wonderful number. We've had the food number for almost 30 years, And it's one that sticks in your brain, because what are we talking about now? We're talking about a Daniel fast. What's the purpose of this Daniel fast that everybody goes on? It's so they can get better health. It's so they can clean out their systems, get the bowels to moving like they're supposed to, the urine to flowing, the fat to melting off of the body, the energy level to pick up, the brain power to increase, and the waistline to go down. Wow, all this with a Daniel fast. We're going back to the garden, back to Africa, back to the future. Why am I saying that? Because it began there on the African continent that we would eat fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. Now we're here in 2022 going back to the Africa, back to the garden, and back to the future, because that's what the future is going to be, is to go back to the beginning in order to get, oh, come on, y'all get that? I call it around the elbow, back to the thumb. Y'all getting me? This is something, folks, that you would look and think in terms of this Daniel fast, eating in a way that will give your body all the things it needs. Again, all the antioxidants that it needs, okay? All the metabolites that are needed for life and all the processes of the body. And on our second half of the show, we're going to talk about that in a little more detail. But again, you can give us a call. You can go to our website, www.rightstuffhealth.com, rightstuffhealth.com. Wonderful, wonderful information there. We've got videos about our 4 products. We once had 12 products, and now we're down to 4 because of the FDA and what they're doing and saying that some formulas are so powerful that they're almost like drugs, And since we're not medical doctors, we can't prescribe these wonderful herbs because they're doing what the drugs are supposed to do. But that's okay, because God still has left us with 4 of the most powerful product on the planet. I can say that because I've been designing products for the last 38 years, some of the best products out there. I know what's the best of the best. And because this is what I do, this is all that I've done for 42 years, is to be a health evangelist and to bring you the right stuff. That's all. That's my duty. That's my job. This is the mantle that has been placed upon me, is to bring to the public, to bring to my brothers and sisters, whether you be black, white, yellow, green, brown, it doesn't matter. We're all created from one blood type. That's the blood of God. That's the blood that's coursing through all of our veins. That red blood, we see it red coming out. It's actually green running through the body. But when it comes out, it's red. All of us bleed red. If I see some other colors and some blood coming out, I'm going to know they're aliens. Are you listening to me? So again, that's the blood type that I'm interested in. And since that blood type was given to me by God himself, then it's God who I'm going to listen to find out what I should put in. Ooh, I hope y'all are listening to me. I'm going to listen to God because he's the one that manufactured me. I drive a car, a Dodge, a Caravan, okay, Grand Caravan. And if something goes wrong with it, I don't take it to the Mitsubishi people because they didn't make it. They fix cars, but not this one, okay? So if I want to know what octane of fuel, if I want to know what food or what meat to put into this body, I'm going to go to the manufacturer. And the manufacturer told me to eat fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. So for those of you who are interested in really truly understanding how to have delicious food that's still nutritious, then you need to talk to us. And then stay in touch with us here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, because as we go forward within the next 6 weeks, we will be bringing forth something that's going to really, really, really blow you away. We have our patent called Move Over Meat. And we're going to show you how to make your meat. We call it all the meat you like to eat, made from oats and soy and wheat. That's right. We've got meat made from vegetables that'll get stuck in your teeth. I'm talking about barbecue, hot tamales, Philly cheese steaks. That's right. We'll have sirloins for you, chicken, beef, whatever you like, we'll have it for you. That's right. And we'll have it in such a form that all you have to do, you've got it in a little bag sitting on the shelf. Whenever you're ready for some, you simply boil it, bring it to a boil in the water with a seasoning packet that we'll put together for you that makes it taste like chicken and make it taste like beef. And you can have any recipe that, from Betty Crocker to whoever the names are, Chef, Iron Chef, all of them, all their recipes. The only thing that you've ever been missing really is what? The meat. That's the hardest thing to break from. That's why you're having the Daniel fast. You're doing it for a week or so, a few weeks, because you can't break from eating the animals. That's why people go back. But if you had that meat, if you had it and it was still delicious and then nutritious with no side effects, okay, no antibiotics, no growth serums, no cholesterol. If you could have that, wow, wouldn't that be a powerful thing? That's why we bring you the right stuff. That's the missing element. That's the one that we're bringing you by God's grace. So stay tuned to us. Stay in touch with us. Our website is www.rightstuffhelps, rightstuffhealth.com, rightstuffhealth.com. You can call us at 901 425 2273, and you can talk to our office manager Monday through Thursday from 8 in the morning until at least 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can reach us. And again, you can call us at 913 or text us at 913-363-FOOD, 913-363-FOOD or 363-3663. That's how you can contact us to find out how you can go on this Daniel diet, this Daniel fast the right way, and not just make it a jump off, jump on, but make it a lifestyle change. We'll show you how to make it so easy that it'll scare you and you can change your life, because it's all about longevity. It's all about longevity. It's all about being here for a long time. Well, folks, we're going to wrap up this part of our show. My name is Dr. Franco Taylor. And for those of you who are interested, whether it's whole churches, whole groups, denominations, it doesn't matter. We can put you on a group plan, a single plan, whatever it be, the need that you have, we'll take care of it and show you how to go on a true Daniel fast. We've showed multiple thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, how to do this in 42 years. And we'll show you how to do it. We've watched people lose, come down from 350 pounds, 400 pounds, down to below 200 pounds. We've seen people walk away from the diabetic needles. Oh, come on now, put their blood pressure medicine on the shelf somewhere. We've watched this hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of times. I did not heal anybody. I simply taught them. I motivated them. I gave them a path. I gave them a script to run on, and they did it, and they got themselves well. And you can do the same thing. I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You've been with me here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. The first half of our show, we're just talking about the Daniel fast, the Daniel fast, the Daniel fast.